The search is too generic. I have to narrow the field down. The search is too generic. I have to narrow the field down. It could be relevant to the case, but I need to find confirmation first. The search is too generic. I have to narrow the field down. The search is too generic. That picture in the top right. The item D is holding in his hand is identical to the one I have in my pocket right now. Lars claims to have heard whispers coming from the mirror. Maybe it really is a contact with the next world. Oh, I've got chills now. Fascinating. These alchemists intended to cross the borders of reality as we know it, and never let themselves be intimidated by anything. They remind me of Lars from a certain point of view. And what's this? The Hand of Glory is an alchemical artifact composed of the dried hand of a hanged man kept in brine. That's gross. According to tradition, the hand gives the bearer total control of whoever is nearby. If correctly completed, in fact, it allows paralysis of everyone in its presence. If correctly completed... who knows what that means? The hand was a tool used in necromancy to speak to the dead or obtain control of the spirits. It seems terrifying, but a few details sound familiar. The dried hand of a hanged man. Is it possible that Molesberg... They are here. I don't have to panic. The documents I found, they mustn't get their hands on them.
What? Thief!
Calm down, Professor. It's just a bad dream.
Oh, good. I'll go back to sleep then.
Quick. There, that's all I can do. And now...
Be still, young man. You took a very bad blow yesterday evening.
Devilta? But how? What?
You are surely asking yourself what you are doing in my house. But the answer is simpler than you might think. Yesterday, just before evening fell, I received a phone call from an unknown caller. He was a young bartender, Olivaci?
Olivero?
Yeah, him. Anyway, he spilled everything you were doing, including the story of the counterfeit form to me.
That Judas! Or maybe I should say those Judases. Well, I didn't know about the form. I'd carelessly revealed that to Tekla.
I then went to the appointment at the Rocket in his place, determined to expose you.
So, you saw the doctor?
I saw a madman dressed as a crow, and I thought it was better to hide and try to understand what was happening.
Okay, but why didn't you call the police?
To report an assault by a guy with paranormal powers? I thought it would be appropriate to rescue you, to ask what was happening directly. I suppose I was also overwhelmed by curiosity.
You made the right decision. Those people don't fool around.
What kind of mess did you get yourself involved in, young man? And what does this all have to do with my castle?
I can't get into details, but you need to believe me. I'm doing all this just to save a child that was kidnapped in America.
That's absurd, to say the least. On the other hand, what I saw tonight is absurd as well. I'll accept your version and will let you walk around inside Castle Sancti Leonis. I just beg you to follow Beringler's directions. That man scares me.
Only then did Alice and the threat of the doctor occur to me. I found 2 messages. The first dated back to the night before, roughly during my fight against the doctor. Alice had found a Polish document that referred to Count Cagliostro. She had even written the entire text through SMS and sent it to me. The second message calmed me down for good. It was from the wee hours of the morning and informed me she was hitting the road to reach me in San Leo. No mention of the doctor. Evidently, Alice proceeded ahead of time without even realizing the danger she averted. Now I have to go, but I could still use some help.
Leave the door open when you go, and come back whenever you want.
So, Oliviero had decided to play hardball. I'll give him a taste of his own medicine. You...
Wait, let me explain.
I don't know who you think you're dealing with, but now I'm really pissed off.
Whoa, what are you planning to do?
Shut up and follow me, and no sudden movements. A shot might go off.
What is this charade?
This is a crazy killer. He wants to shoot me.
I really want to see this. Come on, shoot!
Bang!
But, what? I can't believe I fell for that. Did you know?
You can see the shape of the finger from miles away, dope.
You two nearly compromised my investigation, and now I want to know why.
We can't trust anyone. Don't you get it?
Are you going to listen to me, chump? I said, and I'll repeat it, my sources confirmed his version. He really is a former detective from Miami. We've been stuck on this search for months now. I say let's try.
All right, then. Let's follow your instinct.
How about you start from the beginning and tell me what's going on here? backward and forward.
A while back, we went into the forest on an excursion. It was a perfect night for an excursion, thanks to the full moon illuminating the path. Everything was going perfectly when suddenly we stumbled onto something unusual. The tracks of an animal that, judging by the print, had to be huge. Tekla claimed she had never seen anything like that.
And what did you do?
Tech decided to follow the tracks, but I didn't feel like going with her. I mean, a huge beast with a full moon? I told her I would manage alone, and I let her go. After 5 minutes, I was already lost, cold and frightened.
You're the antithesis of an adventurer.
Then, out of nowhere, I came across something unexpected. Something that has tormented me ever since. It was an old casket, hidden inside a hollow shaft.
And did you open it?
Sure, what the heck? Nothing remotely interesting ever happens to me. It contained some ancient dossiers. I took a quick look, but they disintegrated in my hands in just a few seconds. The only thing left intact is a strange piece of scroll that we've been trying to decipher ever since.
There's something that doesn't fit. How did those documents end up in San Leo if the Count had been dragged there by force?
Maybe they weren't left by the Count himself, but by the Polish soldiers who moved his corpse in 1795.
Polish soldiers. Just like in the document Alice found. Look here, Tekla.
Yes. It's not exactly modern Polish, but it's understandable. It seems like the testimony of one of the soldiers. Apparently, they uncovered the Count's corpse buried in the bare ground, with his head resting on a rock and a towel covering his face. In this passage, Cagliostro is called Master of the Rose. Again, with these damned flowers.
The rose. It's not the first time I've heard about it, and I suspect it won't be the last.
With his body, they found some relics, which they hid, then transcribed the directions to locate them on a scroll, which they divided into 3 parts. The first was entrusted to the local priest, Father Alfredo, who swore to hide it in the safest possible place, protected by the wings of the eagle.
A sort of riddle or puzzle. I'm getting used to it.
The second group of soldiers, however, was confronted by a contingent of knights in the pay of the De Vilta family and exterminated. The last piece was closed in a trunk and buried near an easily recognizable centenarian tree.
This must be the one we found. We already have the first piece.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure of that.
What do you mean?
Yesterday morning, I went for a helicopter ride to fly over the woods looking for the beast.
When we saw you passing by.
Right. My bag could have accidentally fallen down in that area.
What?
Easy, Blondie. I was planning to go retrieve it today, but I'm waiting for the maintenance guy to bring me back my rifle. I don't want to walk around without a weapon with that monster nearby.
Fine, but we can't afford to wait. I'll go recover the bag.
Do as you wish. But take that pickaxe. You'll need it. And make no mistake, I'm not giving it to you because I feel guilty. Not at all.
I didn't know yet at the time, but I should have turned over every stone in San Leo to dredge up those 3 scroll pieces. Hey! Hey, man, I'm talking to you! Ah! Stop waving that knife!
Sorry, dude. Oh, you almost gave me a stroke.
It was a really close call.
What are you doing here? Pleasure trip?
I'd say I'm working. And you?
Yes, me too. Wait a minute, damn! In the rush of the moment, I carved too deeply into the cortex. What a disaster.
What are you doing to that poor tree?
I'm analyzing it, dude. I'm Matthias, world-renowned resinologist.
Resinologist?
I don't think that word exists, but saying biologist specializing in amber is too long and makes other people uncomfortable.
What are you listening to?
Oh, it's the hit of the hour. It's great.
Yep.
I've been listening to it on repeat for days.
See you, Matthias.
Take it easy, dude.
And there it was, Tekla's bag, a cliff away from me. I could have reached the other side of the bridge by taking a long detour, but the path was so long that it was barely visible. Although it didn't appear particularly inviting, that bridge was still standing after who knows how many decades. Surely it would hold for another couple of minutes. That was close. But now I had to find an alternate way to reach that bag. Going all the way around was still out of the question. The little tree was clearly dead, and I could see a crack crossing it transversely. I couldn't resist. I would have to go beyond the crevice to reach Tekla's bag. Even with the pick... That hole... I thought it was better to look for another solution. It was lying at the foot of the cliff. hard piece of tire that... No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't see a good reason to do that. Maybe. I thought it was... Even with the picket... Even with the... The tree... It was lying at the... Sometime... Aesthetically... Sometime... Was that... Something fell off.
It's just a folded handkerchief.
It's because of people like you. There was nothing else in the flat. In that moment, it didn't seem to be a good solution to me. I was all out of ideas. I didn't understand. Once, when I was a kid, I slipped my head through the bars of a gate. When I decided to back out, my ears got stuck, trapping me. The same thing happened with that tool. I'd never be able to pull it out of there. Maybe. I didn't understand. When I need it. I always dreamed of making an actual grappling hook. If only the rope were a few feet longer, I'd have recovered the bag in a split second. That way I could reach the rocky outcrop, bypass it, and get to the opposite plateau. Why wasn't my brain able to come up with a plan that didn't account for the possibility of splattering on the ground like a tomato? The grappling hook seemed to have found a perfect grip. Maybe things were starting to turn the right way. No, absolutely not. Wrong way. Completely wrong. One last effort. Only in that moment did I notice a change in my body. I just crossed a ravine and climbed a steep, rugged wall, yet I felt healthy. Is it possible that the doctor's gas produced such a result in me? Or was I just being manipulated again, diluted by a placebo effect? I'd risked a very dramatic death once more, but the bag was finally mine. Of course. An immense trek down awaited me. I remained speechless. The bag had fallen prey to a rapacious pointed beak belonging to a mean face that boded no good. I panicked. As far as having to climb a steep wall and throwing myself into the void, I could still handle things alone. But I didn't know anything about wild animals. Nowak. That's a Polish surname, right?
What are you? An expert on foreign languages?
No, but I've met many people during my investigations. I don't know why, but I always believed my travel would take me to Warsaw someday.
You wouldn't last a second in my country. There are true men there, not little dillweeds like you.
A strange problem arose. I'd almost recovered the bag when I was assaulted by a fierce winged animal.
A winged animal of what kind? Would you be able to describe it?
Let's see. It had a beak, some feathers.
Christus. I need more detailed information to be able to help you. Take this recognition form, go on site and fully compile it, then come back to me.
Can't you just give me something strong enough to knock it down?
The anesthetics you see on the table are bombs. They would kill it on the spot.
I don't want to hurt it.
Hands off or I'll cut them off. That bag contains some powerful hunting anesthetics.
Hunting anesthetics. Cool.
Don't get any ideas. I can't leave them in the hands of a novice.
I have to select at least a symbol for each category. I have to select it. I have to select it. I have to select. I have to. I have to. I have to select. I had to submit the results to Tekla.
Alright, cretin. If you correctly identify the species with the liquid contained in here, you'd be able to ward it off. Throw the ampoule a reasonable distance from the bird and wait until it can smell the odor.
Fingers crossed. I strongly hoped I'd guessed the species right, and prepared myself to throw another of my curveballs. The bird threw me a nasty look that froze the blood in my veins, but apart from that, nothing. I had to carefully observe. I already had an ampule. Nice, strong. The bird threw me a nasty look that. I had to carefully observe the animal. I have to select it. I have to select it. I have to select. I have to select. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. Better not get. I already had. Nice, strong. The bird threw me a net. I had to carefully observe. Let's try again. Let's try again. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. I strongly hoped I'd guessed the species right, and prepared myself to throw another of my curveballs. The bird threw me a nasty look that froze the blood in my veins, but apart from that, nothing. I had to carefully observe the animal. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. I have to select at least a symbol for each category. I have to select... Let's try again. Fingers crossed. I strongly hope... The bird threw me a nasty look that froze the blood in my veins, but apart from that, nothing. I had to carefully observe. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. I already had it. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. 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 I strongly hoped. The bird threw me a nasty look that froze. I had to carefully observe the. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. I strongly. The bird threw me a nasty look that froze the blood in my veins, but apart from that, nothing. I had to carefully. Better not get too. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. I strong. I will recover the piece of the scroll once I return the bag to Tekla. I will recover the piece of the scroll once I return the bag to Tekla.